Wait for your conference to begin.
Well, hello, Jack on. John Tice coming to you from the Education Center here in Camp Hill. This is actually a reenactment of my goal-setting WebEx from 2 weeks ago. Unfortunately, I forgot to hit record, so today we're going to start from the top and take a look at it again. So 2014 is coming. 2013 pretty much is in the books. You know if you have a settlement coming up in the next few weeks or not, and how your year has been. So when we start thinking of goal setting, I know many people look at it as something that's tedious and difficult. You don't want the pressure of putting goals on yourself. But let's take goals to a different dimension, a different level, and what can they mean to you, and not your business, but your life. How can I improve my life by setting goals? Many of us look around and say, well, that was a good year, and we don't know how we got here. We don't know what happened to us. We don't know where our business came from. We feel kind of lucky. I was lucky I sold this house. Oh, what a good break that was. I got this call. How about if we start doing business on purpose in 2014? And I'm going to walk you through a couple simple steps to help break your year down, and maybe some of the thinking behind it, why that would be important and why that could be helpful to you. So let's take a look at our 2014 business plan in kind of general terms. So we've got 2014. And it's coming whether we like it or not, whether we prepare for it or not. But right now, we just came off, firstly, I just came off of Thanksgiving. Don't know what you did. Did you have a plan for Thanksgiving? Did you have a plan to get together with your family and friends, something that you wanted to make, the dinner you wanted to have? Did you plan because somebody was coming and they had a preference of one thing over another? We plan all the time. But many of us fail to plan for the real estate year we want to have. And so it becomes kind of the after effect that, look at that, I did this, I did that. Let's start to do things on purpose. And the first thing I want you to really focus on for your 2014, step number one, how about if you sit back and take an afternoon, and I want you to dream. I want you to think big. Think big about what your goal could be, what your life would be like if you hit your goal. Now, pulling a goal out of the air, you know, I want to be number one. I'd like to make President's Gold. I'd like to make $100,000. Those are all pieces of our goal. but what's your real goal? And so I always want to ask the question, what would your life look like if you achieved your goal? Now, that goal can be any number of things. So let's take a look at it and break it down. So the first thing we want to do is we want to pay our bills. And for many people, I think that's where the whole idea of a goal ends. So I have bills of $2,000 a month. And so I need $24,000. And that becomes their goal. Hey, as long as I hit 24, I'm doing pretty good. Well, but 24 only meets your expenses. So maybe you have a car problem during the year, some kind of a surprise expenditure. Lord knows I spend enough money on cars this year. So maybe you have some surprise expenditures and suddenly 2,000 didn't make it. Maybe you needed 2,500 a month. And so where are you at the end of the year? Well, you're in the hole, where you didn't get to enjoy life. What I want you to do is think big. Think what it would be like to have a bigger, better year. So we've got our $2,000 a month, and that just meets our basic expenses. You know your number. It might be $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. The next thing I'd like you to do is build in a profit. Susie Orman tells us that it would be great to have 6 months of living expenses in savings at all times because it gives you a certain confidence and power because you're not desperate. You don't need every weird little deal that comes along. You don't need to make weird commission deals to close it because, oh my gosh, you know, I got to have this one. I need this one. So let's build in a profit. So if 6 months savings is our goal, that looks like 12 grand. Did you ever build in profit before? So we've got our basic amount, we've got our profit, and now it becomes the wouldn't it be great piece. What is your personal goal? For all of us, it's going to be absolutely different because it's very personal. I've passed the days of having children in college. I was terrified for years. You know, what was I going to do to pay their way through school? So let's turn it into part of our plan. So whether it's sending a kid to college, getting a new Lexus, whatever it might be, what does that turn into you? What would be awesome? What would you love to add to your life? Well, I've been given my goal for next year. My lovely wife wants to take a trip. It's going to be our 10-year anniversary of our first date, and she'd like to take a trip. It's absolutely on the radar. It's absolutely in the plan, my mental plan of what I do. So whatever that might be for you, college, of course, is more expensive, but how you're managing it and handling it is your own personal matter. But let's just pick a number that's manageable for all of us. Let's find $5,000 to put into our wouldn't it be great bucket. Remember, it may not sound like enough, make it more. But also remember, you didn't do this before, so anything that ends up in that bucket won't be an accident. It's going to be our plan. So we've got $5,000 we're going to put in for wouldn't it be great. And then finally, we're all self-employed, so we need to set money aside for taxes. Because if you take taxes out of this, we aren't reaching any of our goals. So we've got 24, 36, 41 grand. Plus you're going to need about another 12, 13,000 for taxes. So I've got a $55,000 earning goal. I hit 55 grand. I paid my bills. I put money in bank. I've got my wouldn't it be great covered, and I've got the taxes to set aside to do it all without biting into any of the things I want to do. 55,000 should be pretty attainable. So is that thinking big enough? Look at what you've earned this year, and you apply it for yourself. Take the same numbers, tweak them any way you like, and then add something to it. Go beyond what you'd ideally like to do and go into the think big category. Trouble with many of us, we just don't think big enough. We don't allow for the trip. If there's money left over, we'll do it. If I can manage it that month, I'll do it. If I can afford to take time off, I'll do it. Let's plug those things in there. So wouldn't it be great? Also need some time set aside for it. And I'd like you to start looking at your business in a way of how can I achieve all of these things. That could take some time to sit back, think about it, dream big, and allow it to take over. Because we know one thing. If we set our goal low enough and hit it, what did that do for you? Maybe I didn't do enough. Let's set it big and give us something to work towards. Your brain will start to try and reach things because you've asked it to. If you set it low enough, guess what? Your actions are going to match what you've established for yourself. Number 2 step. Here's the hardest part of anything we're going to do today. I need you to write it down. Once you write it down, it becomes more powerful than you can imagine. It gives your brain something to work towards. And even though you may have written it down, set it aside, put it in a sealed envelope, put it in your safe deposit box, wherever you put your goal, your brain will know what you've done, and you've kind of etched it in stone up there. So now you've got something that your brain's going to be working towards all year long, and you may not be aware of it because you'll be thinking of that one big item, that trip that you want to take, putting that money into savings for the kids, actually turning a profit for your first year in real estate, any of those items. But if you don't write it down or if you make it too low, chances are you're going to hit it. Next thing we want to do, let's qualify our actions. Just because we thought about it and we want it and wouldn't it be great doesn't mean you're going to achieve it. So what are you going to do differently to help you get there? Perhaps there's a number of things that you've wanted to work on and you just haven't tackled it as yet. Now you're off to a good start. You thought about it, you wrote it down. Maybe you even went one step farther and you shared that goal with your wife, your spouse, your significant other. And now they're kind of, this is the part we don't do because we don't want somebody riding our butt all year. Well, you said you're going to do this. But how about breaking it down into actions that you are willing to share that maybe someone could help you with? So what are the actions that might make you more productive as you go through the year? What if you did some simple things every month that added to your education in the business or added to your technique or whatever? So maybe you're going to master the listing presentation. So for the first time ever, you're going to actually log into Toolkit. You're going to use that new listing presentation. You're going to master it, and you're going to go out and present it. Maybe you're going to become paperless. Maybe you're going to get that iPad or the new laptop, something that you can bring into the home. Maybe you're going to go wireless and actually spring for the wireless account, or just learn to use your cell phone better. Maybe you took advantage of our CCIM program. Maybe there's new homes. I could do this all day. Maybe you're going to discover a couple new apps. Just like we just discovered the the 10B2 HP calculator for doing commercial transactions and doing the math. Ever since we covered that in CCI, and I have to tell you, I see some of the steps that we do out there in a different light, simply because I picked up a couple new skills. What if you just learned anything? What if you just learned anything? But set yourself a schedule for the year and once a month tackle something. Go in and learn the new Homebase InTouch system. Go in and learn the Homebase, Homebase. Log in once a month. All the different sections. Commit to buying into the Fab Plus program. Commit to the toolkit presentation, understanding it, applying it, and being able to sell it and go out and land more listings. How about raising the percentage of listings you take? How about taking listings? Any of these things can become action items, but write them down, make them part of your plan. And so every month I want to get better at something else. If I can be helpful in that area of covering any of these points, just reach out to me. We'll put it on our schedule together, and I'll help you work towards some of these goals. One thing I've learned over my years in the real estate business, I have yet to take a class or learn something that has not made me more money or has raised my confidence or raised my conversion ratio of any of these areas. So go out and learn something. Don't be afraid to do that. We want to qualify those actions. One of the other things that you need to do, how about sharing that with your manager? Share your goal. Help drill it down to the amount of money that you need, the number of transactions. He'll know the averages for the office, the average sale. If you've done more than 10 deals this year, you need to use your own averages because you've got a certain style and a certain clientele. Maybe that's something you want to focus on. Maybe you don't know those numbers. And when you look at them, you say, I'm working too hard for what I'm being paid. So there's a couple ways to get a raise. First, how about a better quality of business? Just raise your average sale price. Maybe you're making lousy commission deals. Look at your average commission. Maybe you need to raise that. Those are the easy ones. They're easy to do because you're already doing a certain volume of business. So raise those numbers. Raising your average is a mindset. So start to do that in your mind. Both of them will make you more money in the same period of time. Maybe you'll find that your business is out of balance, that you're working with too many buyers and not enough listings. We're entering a time where listings are going to be critical to having a good year at all, because right now we know there's an inventory shortage in many parts of the country. It's going to come our way. So when it comes here, if you're working with buyers, you might be out of business. If you've been relying on REO properties, if you've been relying on short sale strategies, you might need to learn how to list a real house without those encumbrances and deal with those folks. You might need to stretch yourself a little bit. Look at all those actions. But when you share it with your manager, he can put it into a system that we have that will send you emails monthly and show you how you're doing in reaching your overall goal. And it's going to break it down, listings and sales and all your average numbers. Why don't you become a student of the business, track some numbers, and put a little science to this business instead of letting it just be the bus that hits you occasionally. And then fourth, and most importantly, review and revisit your goals. Now, the email will come to you monthly, and that's going to help you with that process. But maybe you didn't think real big and you started to hit your goals. I would challenge you to go back, review them, and revisit them, and to do this throughout the year. That's part of why the email comes to you. not always coming to you because you're short. What if you're over? I've learned in my time in the business that when you reach a goal, you stop working. It's human nature, and it's the way we've trained our mind. My goal is 10. So when I hit 10, guess what? I stop working. Maybe your goal wasn't big enough, and that's why I'm encouraging you to think big from the start, because your actions are going to mirror where you want to go, particularly if you write them down, share them with somebody else, build them into a system so they're reinforced with you. And remember, our goal is not earning the money. It's going to be having some security for my family, having my bills paid, my money in the bank, and I'm working towards that really cool something, whatever that may be for you. A trip, a car, time away with the kids, time away from the kids. Who knows? Whatever works for you. But I want you to see your business in a totally different light than just, oh my gosh, I need another listing, I need another sale. Make it a personal goal. You already have one anyway. We all do. We need to mark them down. Sharing them is powerful. Find somebody in the office that works along the same line and encourage each other. Role play with each other. Practice different techniques. Role play your listing presentation in front of them. And if you can't find somebody, I'm always around. But take all of these things into consideration. My mantra has been for the last year, or nearly this year, since I discovered this motto, I solve problems for a profit. Wouldn't it be cool to build profit into your business for the first time? To think in terms of a profit. Let's have a profit. But wrap it around what would be best for you and your family and your significant others. Bring it all into the mix. It's going to drive you more than anything else, and break it down into action items that are real easy to manage. As you layer these on, you're adding skills, you'll add confidence, and I have no doubt at all that you'll build a business and work your way towards your goal. Good luck with all of that. If you'd like to sit down and review any of these, some action items, stop and visit with your manager, give me a call. Be glad to sit down and help you work your way through this. I have a poster on my wall that I like very much, and that is, it takes as much energy to wish as it does to plan. Planning is more fun. Planning has end game, end results, and they look great. Bills paid, profit, money in the bank, on your way to your goal, taxes are paid. Now that's running a business. I'm John Sykes. Thanks for tuning in. Hope this is helpful to you. I know you're all doing planning work right now. So put a little method to the madness and drop me a line. Let me know how that worked out for you. Hopefully it's helpful to you. I don't think you can miss. Take care.